立即释放孟晚舟女士。
In the days before the ruling, there were veiled threats from Beijing, and today from China's embassy in Ottawa, condemnation. The purpose of the United States is to bring down Huawei and other Chinese high-tech companies, and Canada has been acting in the process as an accomplice of the United States.
Our democracy is based on a rule of law. We have a treaty in place, and we respect our treaty, we're abiding by it. But more importantly, our judicial system is completely independent of our political system, and this is something that is extremely fundamental to our democracy, something that we are very proud of.
Today's ruling dashes faint hopes of freedom from Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor, who've now been held for over 17 months without seeing lawyers or family members.
It's not about who this pleases or who it angers. It's about a legal process being followed and the fact that the rule of law is critical for all of our well-being here in Canada.
But if the court rules that extradition can proceed, this case will land on the desk of the Attorney General, a post once held by Irwin Cotler.
It's only if, in fact, the extradition would be unjust or oppressive would the Minister of Justice, in my view, intervene.
Cotler says that courthouse photo op now looks like a failed ploy.
Look, I'm innocent, and it's clear that I'm innocent, and this will be proven in 2 days from now, and might have even been coordinated with the CCP, so that if the decision is adverse, they will be even more outraged.
There were signs in recent days that Beijing expected today's ruling to go its way. This disappointment comes just as the Communist Party concludes its National People's Congress, its annual display of power, where this news won't be well received. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Chelsea, Quebec.
So there was limited access to that courthouse due to COVID-19. Jason Proctor was the CBC's only set of eyes inside. So Jason, can you tell us what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very different Meng Wanzhou inside that courthouse today than the one we saw outside on the steps on Saturday. She was wearing a mask. The courtroom itself was sparsely populated. That's because of physical distancing requirements. And essentially, you know, she looked kind of downcast as the next few months of these proceedings and possibly years were laid out in terms of planning of case management ahead, and essentially a disappointing day for Meng Wanzhou.
So what is the next step of this case?
Well, so she has a couple more chances to knock the case down, to have it tossed out, basically. One through a claim of an abusive process, and also just trying to claim that the U.S. doesn't have sufficient evidence to warrant extraditing her. If that fails and she's committed for extradition, the judge mentioned in her ruling that the ultimate role the Minister of Justice could have in regards to this, and that's in deciding that this would be contrary to Canadian values, sending her for something that relates to U.S. Sanctions that Canada doesn't have.
All right, Jason Proctor, thanks for this.